This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening, or whenever you watch this vlog, whether you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, YouTube, Roku. Hope you guys are having a great day. It's hotter than hell here. Upstate New York is not supposed to be 108 degrees index. You know, if I wanted to live in Texas, I'd move. Or Oklahoma, Alan. Guys, I don't want to take up much of your time today, but I got to get this off my chest. I think I've talked about it on my individual shows and other shows I appear on. I watched the Major League Baseball All-Star game the other night, and, you know, the American League won for the 9th straight time. And these things run in streaks, you know, who wins and loses. But does it matter? Do we care anymore? Ratings down again. I think 10%, let's say, from last year. And there's a lot of reason ratings go down on live TV broadcasts and network broadcasts because there's so many choices out there today. I know. But All-Star games used to be a big deal. When I was a kid, and again, I know I'm not older than a lot of you that are watching. I have no illusions that my demographic skews that young. Because I'm the old guy on my porch yelling at you to get off my lawn, as I say a lot of times. But do All-Star games matter? Do we care anymore? When I was a kid, I loved the Major League Baseball All-Star game. Above all, I liked the NBA All-Star game. I liked the Pro Bowl. It was very fun. And they were playing real games, guys. They played the game the way it was supposed to be played. And you got to see the best of the best. And you would see guys you couldn't see because, believe it or not, if somebody here is younger than, 40 years old or whatever, maybe I'm not doing my math well, we didn't see all these games every night of the week. We didn't get to see all the superstars on a weekly basis almost. We didn't have Sports Center where we could see the highlights of all the great players and plays and home runs, and pitching performances. When I was a kid, if I wanted to see Henry Aaron, I had to watch the All-Star game. You might catch him here or there. You get a Mets broadcast, which I wasn't a fan of the Mets, but you might get a Mets broadcast, 10 times a year up here where I grew up. Yankees, same thing. You might get 10 games, guys. We didn't have cable TV, much less ESPN. So when the local channel affiliate would rebroadcast a game on a Sunday afternoon, you were excited as hell. But we didn't get to see all the great players. I didn't get to see Nolan Ryan, unless I was lucky enough that he was playing the Yankees and Pep and to be pitching the day that they showed him on, the 10 or 20 times a year I might get him. Henry Aaron. Who else were the great players? Yes. Rod Carew. Pete Rose. Now, you'd see those guys playing the playoffs, some of them. The Big Red Machine we get to see a lot in the 70s, obviously. Red Sox once in a while. But the All-Star game was a big deal. It was where I got to see all these great players all at the same time. And guess what? They played to win. You remember Pete Rose running over Ray Fosse and changing the path of Ray Fosse's career. But they were playing to win the game, guys. They played it like it was a real baseball game. They don't do that anymore. These guys pitchers, by the way, starting pitchers might go 3 innings. Other guys might come in for 2. Now it's 1 inning out, 1 inning out, 1 inning out. Guys are mic'd up. Yeah, was it fun to watch? Nasty Nestor and Trevino, go back and forth, and Nestor call his pitches, and then Trevino talking while he's at the plate. I guess it's cool, but it's novel and it gets old after a while. And guys seem to be going through the motions, you know. And baseball's still better than other sports. The Pro Bowl's become virtually unwatchable. In the 70s, they played real football. They might put a couple, then they started putting some rules in, no blitzing, no this, no that. It's basically two-hand touch now. The NBA All-Star game, unwatchable. A bunch of guys running up and down the field, throwing up alley-oops for dunks. Scores are 180 to 170. Who wants to watch that? The football Pro Bowl the same way. Some of these games recently, and the game might have been better this year. I think they might have made some changes, but still, all in all, who wants to watch a football game that ends up, 60 to 55? No defense being played and guys just, going around untouched on running plays, passing plays. Baseball All-Star game was such a big deal to me when I was a kid. I loved being able, I would go get the newspaper, find a way to get it anyway. I'd ride my bike 5 miles to the store. Not 5 miles, but 2 or 3 miles. Read about the game, see the starting lineup, see the starting. Again, that's the only way I could get it, guys. There was a time the only place you could get news was in a newspaper or on the radio. Sportscast, were 3 minutes of sports. It was exciting to get that day's paper and see the lineups. Now nobody wants I'm sorry, audience participation, or I should say not participation, but viewership was humongous. They drove as much for the All-Star game as they draw for the World Series. It was a big deal to have that game on the network because you got to sponsor your network shows, and that's another thing. It's become just a big commercial for the network that we're on. But now, with the proliferation of games on TV, Sports Center, the internet, obviously, you can see players and plays and full games everywhere, every night. I can see pretty much any player I want to watch whenever I want to watch them. And with interleague play, back again, I hate to keep going back, and I know I sound like a cranky old fart. Without interleague play, no, you didn't get to see. Henry Aaron didn't play against the Yankees. Bobby Bonds didn't play against the Yankees. Yes, Barry Bonds' dad, Bobby. Pete Rose didn't play against the Yankees during the regular season. The only way I could see the American League was in the All-Star game and in the World Series. And there was a charm to it. And they played for real. I mean, there was a time where I believe the National League, and during the time period I'm talking about, in the middle of it, National League won like 19 out of 20 because they cared more than the American League. Was always the conclusion they would reach. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't know if the players were any better. Great players. I loved seeing my Yankees play. I loved seeing Thurman Munson, Bobby Mercer. Should have mentioned Bobby first because Bobby's my boy. Roy White here and there. Greg Nettles. It mattered then. Now, and they wore their own uniforms. The last few years we had to look at these. Oh my God, just atrocious. These gray, I think they were gray. I'm not good with colors, guys. These gray things the American League wore. Sorry about that, guys. These gray things the other guys wore, the American League wore the other night, were just atrocious looking. Is that about just selling more jerseys? Who cares about the All-Star game? Do you care about the All-Star game? Tell me you do, and tell me why. And if you don't care, tell me. Tell me you agree. It's fine. And if you disagree, I'm fine with that too. I'm sure there's a segment out there somewhere that think this is really cool. I could care less about the home run derby anymore. I could care I even care more about the home run derby than I do the game itself because I don't care. The game's terrible. And by the way, if it ended in a tie this year, we stop playing baseball altogether. We're going to have a home run hitting derby or contest to decide the game. What a bunch of nonsense. And you know, if they were going to try it out here, Rob Manfred said it would never be used in the regular season. If they tried it out here and people loved it, only takes a certain group of people to love it. They would have put it in the regular season at some point. And another abomination to the game of baseball. But this applies to all sports. Do we care about this at all? Maybe you don't even care what I got to say, which is fine too. But I'm tired of all-star games. Name a team. I'm fine with you saying that designating people as all-stars for that season, but just stop playing the games unless you're going to play real baseball or real football or real basketball. If you're not going to even try, then do me a favor and don't play the games at all. And don't insult my intelligence and try to tell me I'm watching a real sporting event. T. Thanker for TGI Sports Talks. Thanks for joining me. Sorry for the anger today if it came out a little bit. You guys have a great day.